Time for another tactical review. Okay, the map is Carpiquet, and the players are captains with the 7th Armored Desert Rats, and Gal O'Neill with the 21st Panzer. On this Carpiquet map, it's not the duelist version, so it is not rotated so that the airfield is taking up less space. So on this map, there's a tiny sliver of a engagement area here at the top, and then the bottom is essentially a city type of conflict to expect. Now, usually in the later games, people will take their tanks across the airfield, but it'll probably primarily be focused on the city. Now, as we see the initial deployment, at the top, we're going to be seeing a fairly passive initial deployment. In the middle here, we do see a little bit of conflict coming in here between the two sides. Now, this white truck here is really fast. It is 95 kilometers on the road, so it's going to get there before everybody else. Now, the interesting part here is this bottom engagement. We can see that it's fairly aggressive on both sides. They're just basically taking up their positions in the town, and this is what we're primarily going to be focused on in the very beginning. We do see Gal O'Neill coming in with some fire support with this 20mm half-track, and he is bringing his infantry up to hold the line. He is unloading it, not in a building, but in the tree, and then he's going to come across. But I think we'll see that he's probably going to get cut down as he tries to cross the road here. Half-track is moving forward to provide some fire support while this happens. But let's see what happens when we try it. Well, he's going into the building, it looks like. Half-track does get taken out, and he calls in a fire support Panzer 4. Now, on Captain's side, this Recon Stewart is really chewing things up in terms of fire support. He is within that 600-meter range there, so he's got all guns blazing. Now, it is a little bit more expensive than the regular Stewart version, but as we can see, it does have a 50 cal on here, and that 50 cal really does a number on infantry, so very well worth it. Looks like Captain feels like he's taken the town, so he's repositioning this Stewart to provide fire support elsewhere. Now, he's kind of leaving his units here, just basically not advancing, not moving the front line forward at all, which leaves this opportunity for Gal O'Neill to bring in some reinforcements here. Now, if he really felt that he did take this town, I would think that he could try to maybe reload something into this half-track, move it forward so it doesn't get caught out in the open, and then maybe reposition into some of these buildings further along. But I guess he's being cautious, and he's focusing his attention elsewhere. So right now what we're seeing is the 20mm fire support from Gal O'Neill is coming back on the scenes here. Now, what does he see? Doesn't really see anything, so he doesn't know how far to push forward without infantry, which is good. It's good to be cautious here, because really you need to have some infantry before you can do anything. He is bringing this infantry back that was routed previously. It is crossing over in the open. We'll see if what happens when it hits the street. No smoke. If he had smoke, he doesn't have smoke, but if he did have smoke, he could hide that from going across the street, and he recognizes the danger there, and so will hold off on crossing the street. Now, this smoke is actually coming from the Desert Rats unit, so it's not. It wasn't Gal O'Neill's. Repositioning. Now, that was a nice kill there on that half track there. I think that kill might have come from the. Looks like it just maybe barely got in range of this. No, it couldn't have. It's a magnetic mine, which the magnetic mine only has a range of 100 meters. I'm not sure what killed that unit. Might have just been fire from maybe the recon unit across there? No, it doesn't seem so. Anyways, the Panzer 4C is coming in for fire support here. Gal O'Neill is bringing in additional infantry. He really wants to take back this town, so Captain S has shifted back the Stuart for his fire support here. Now, when that 50 cal gets back on target, then he will be able to stun up that infantry fairly nicely. Now, right now, it looks like Gal O'Neill is in a safe position from the Stuart because the building is blocking the line of sight. So he's getting all his fire support on target, taking out that desert rat there. And now let's see if he's going to move those. Now he's moving those forwards now. Panzer IV-C is in a fairly good position, though it can't really see this unit here. Maybe if he moved it up, it's still even the buildings are going to be blocking it. So difficult position here to get some good fire support on it, but he's at a good range to stay out of Piat range if they did have Piat. These are the motorized rifles of Piat, which is a 200 meter range unit. So it's good that he's staying at that distance here. Infantry is moving forward, and his 20 mil half track is moving forward as well. Now we're going to see an engagement. What does the Stuart do? It looks like Captain S doesn't want to risk it. Brings it back out to longer range. Still has the within range of the 600 meter range for the machine guns to be on target, but not close enough to have it be at risk of any Panzer cost here. Now the Panzer IV-C does have some AP on it, so it looks like that Gal O'Neill wants to bring it forward to try to see what he can make happen against this Stuart. You can see he's actually targeted the Stuart, so he does want to have an engagement between the Stuart and the Panzer IV-C. Nice shot as it's moving back, driver wounded. We'll get another shot off here, and we'll see what he can make happen. Bounce. Yeah, it's not intended to be an anti-tank unit, but you can see that it's doing a fairly decent job. Can't see the Stuart anymore, so as he's moving it forward, he's just basically following there, and then he changes his mind, changes it over to just a standard attack move. Now from here, it looks like that Stuart is just going to stay at the optimal range, 400 to 600 meters away, so all the machine guns are on target. And here comes Gal O'Neill, but now instead of targeting the Stuart, he's targeting this half track over here. And then that's when Gal O'Neill brings his Stuart back and is targeting directly this Panzer IV-C. So he got the first shot off that way. Driver wounded. Now the accuracy, he's with his morale damage, this accuracy is really bad. Now the accuracy on the Stuart is a tiny bit higher, but he did have that morale damage for a little bit. So each point of accuracy is roughly about 10%, so he has a 50% chance of hitting him. And then you combine that with distance and morale damage, and then you get a lower amount of accuracy. But it looks like the Stuart has almost fully recovered, and now we can see Captain S moving forward fast to try to get that surrender. Very nicely done. Town is now fully in Captain S's possession, besides that recon unit. Now up here in the north, what we're going to see is Gal O'Neill trying to push into the hangars. What we see here is we have a Panzer IV-C coming in for fire support. He's also bringing up this anti-tank gun because he knows there is some units in here. And probably the most worrisome unit is this fire support over here on Captain's side of the 75 millimeter auto car. Pretty nice unit here. 11 AP, so it does serve as an anti-tank unit, but it also has this 50 cal unit, so very nice fire support here that can chew up infantry as well. So it's a little bit of everything there in a very cheap price. No armor, so whatever Gal O'Neill wants to do, either with the Panzer IV-C or the AT unit, he will be able to see what he will be able to accomplish something. So let's see what happens during this engagement. Now, when Captain S has all these units stacked up behind here, he doesn't really have an idea of how he can come around this bend, or if he's even seen this AT unit. He doesn't really know when he should strike. So things moving forward here by Gal O'Neill, and what he's going to need to do is try to find an opening to bring his units out forward to do an attack. And it looks like he's very hesitant to bring it out past this hangar. So waiting for the right moment here. Looks like there's going to be some close combat, but the motorized rifles got into the building first, catches the Panzer Grenadiers out in the open. Still moving for close combat. Both looks like they're going to get stunned up at the same time, but the surrender goes against the Panzer Grenadiers. Now the opportunity is, well, when does he bring forward his units here? And what he does is a perfect thing, is stuns up with an aircraft against his Panzer IV-C, and then moves his 2 units forward to go for the kill. And now in this case, he still knows that there's an anti-tank gun there, or he believes there is, but he can't see it. So he brings his recon forward to see if he can get within 600-meter range, and boom, right when within that 600-meter range, he displays this unit again. Now again, if he comes past this aircraft hangar, he's going to get blasted by this anti-tank gun, and being so close, it's just not going to miss. It already has an accuracy of 5, but with it being so close, it's probably getting an additional 1 accuracy. Now, what he does is he strafes it, then brings his units out from behind the hangar, which is very nice, because with the additional morale damage, less opportunity to hit. So, terrific way to do it. Okay, so back to the rest of the map. The southern part of the city is still gone, but what Gal O'Neill has done is he's managed to get a small 20 mil half-track unit behind the lines. And so the question is now, what does he do with it? So he's going to try to probably either move it back into back to his lines, or see if he can, make something happen behind the lines. But it's doubtful. Over here in the top part, though, we can see that he's moving his Panzer IV-C dangerously close into an area where he has no other supporting infantry. Half-track over here is trying to make its way back to his lines, but he notices a leader unit here, and he wants to try to take it out. But if this is a different 75mm autocar is going to have anything to say about it, he's not going to let that happen. And we can see here, this is why you never move your tanks or fire support vehicles beyond your infantry range, because you're not going to get anything from it, and there's really no benefit to trying to take a few feet of land more with when you're already at a +3. So yeah, if you're desperate, then you're going to have that done. Now it looks like Captain S knows that there's some units hidden around the field, and he guesses that there's something here. And he can also see probably that there's a bulge here happening, and so something's causing this bulge, and so he's kind of playing around, I guess, with the casters, using these beacons to tell us, hey, I know there's something there. And see, he says, oh, I think there's something here in this building here as well, all because he can see this bulge here, and in fact he's right. So there is a Panzer Grenadier there, so he's going to have to try to flush it out. He's bringing forward his Stuart to provide some fire support. He's got a Staghound down here at the bottom, and then this half-track also is coming forward to do something. Looks like he's fast moving that forward to try to see if he can flush out what's happening here. And it does have a Panzerfaust, 150-meter range, so yeah, he's going to just be in range there. So it's kind of dangerous to flush that out when he could have used these motorized rifles, I suppose, to move forward. But moving out in the open, they would have gotten chewed up by the machine gun. So I can see why he might do that, but still, it's a risk. Flushes them out because he shot at them, and so he can see them. But now the Panzer Grenadier, to avoid all the fire, jumped out of the building, now jumped back in. We'll be able to pin down those advancing motorized rifles, but then the fire support comes online and he's going to get stunned up really fast. Even though he's in a building, he gets that bonus for bullet damage. With all that fire support coming down, he's going to be stunned up. Now the next thing is to try to get some sort of surrender on it. But now what's happening is that O'Neill's bringing up his other units, so looks like Captain S has a lot less to worry about with just this one unit. He's got all this other stuff moving forward. O'Neill looks like unloads his Pioneer a little bit too early, and the Pioneer now has to walk forward this whole distance when he could have been in that half track, I suppose. Recon unit coming up to spot what's in the building. That's very nice. Looks like he's bringing it over to this top side. Drop it off on the road. Might want to, since he sees the front line here advancing past the buildings, he might want to put it in one of the buildings instead. But let's see what he's seeing now from his perspective. Still can't really see anything in these buildings, but the front line does tell him that there's nothing there. And so now he's bringing them forward. Gets pinned out in the open as expected, though. Pioneer is in the building, though, so he knows that probably something's in one of these hangars because of the way the front line is shifting. And we do, in fact, see it a little bit farther back. Okay, so now not much happening in the north or the middle, but we do see this Panzer IV-G coming forward, 2-star veteran. This is going to be a very nice engagement to take a look at here, because this Panzer IV-G has a very high accuracy. All of the German tank guns have typically like a 6 accuracy, so 60% chance to hit, whereas the Allied units, like for example this Staghound, will usually end up having something like a 5 accuracy. So Germans almost always get an advantage in terms of accuracy. So it looks like Captain recognizes this danger, moves his Staghound back. So once he goes into this forest area here, we'll notice, see how that range decreases, the vision here? So that means that Gale O'Neill will not be able to see or fire onto that unit there because he just can't see him anymore. So that unit is effectively hidden from him. Forests are nice that way. You can actually gauge at what distance you want to engage with, because once he moves forward and extends that range, then he'll be able to engage that 4C on his terms. And what we're going to see him doing here is bringing this auto car over here and try to do a pincer movement, so he can bring this car out past the hedgerow and get a side shot onto the 4G at the same time while he's bringing this Staghound. So we can take a look at the orders of these units here. You see that Gale O'Neill is trying to make something happen, keeping out of range of these buildings over here, which is nice. That's a good thing for him to do because he doesn't want to get too close and get a bazooka shot. So he wants to stay outside of the 200-meter range. Very nicely done there. But now he has to deal with this pincer movement coming forward from these units here. Now, he is bringing forward artillery here. The artillery is basically just going to be shelling some infantry and trees. Really not anything happening there. But what is interesting here is he's bringing forward all these half-tracks with infantry in a very aggressive movement all the way past town here. Half-tracks can be nice that way because, being armored, they might not die on the first shot, depending on your dice rolls. But if they do get a little bit damaged, they'll unload immediately, so you can be a little bit more aggressive in their movement. Now, he's changed those movement orders to be a little bit less aggressive, but still what we're going to see is this bazooka shot come in here, unloads the infantry. Now the infantry is right there on target, can unload and take out that motorized rifle. Now we can see that captain has decided to spring his trap, and he's getting a pincer movement onto this 4G here with the 75 millimeter and the Staghound, and he gets that kill. Very small, very little armor on that unit, but still it did require a pincer movement just to be on the safe side. It worked out very nicely. Bombing run comes in here, stuns up everything. If he can get this Wasp to do a fast move, he might be able to get all these units to surrender. Now, don't. Let's see if he knows about this Panzer grenade in the building, which he doesn't. So what's going to end up happening here, though, is that Panzer grenade he's going to get that Wasp a little bit too close to there, but he doesn't know about it. So once he gets that too close, then there comes the Panzerfaust. So yeah. Now the artillery back here again is basically just shooting random things in the back. He can't really see anything. Well, his recon unit did get into the building eventually, so it is in a nice position. And being such a small unit, Captain S is not going to be able to see that unit, even though it's right next to him. Still can't see him, so it's a very good, well-positioned unit in that manner. The artillery unit here is just basically just attacking infantry and buildings, and it's not going to really accomplish much. So looks like the rest of this is just going to be a static battle. There's really no reason for Captain S to really do anything other than just wait for this +3 to wind its way down. And so we see a King Tiger coming in, which again is just going to be on the airfield, and you can see Captain S's units all on the airfield as well. But the line has basically been set, and Captain S is just going to wait behind there. Again, artillery just firing at infantry and buildings. Okay, it was a couple illustrative moments there. KD ratio wasn't too far off between each other, but it came down to points, obviously. Kills, the hero unit on the Allied side is this 75mm autocar. We could see how much work that did, and I believe this was the one that might have been in the top here. That was our second scene. And this Stewart, this recon Stewart, this is the one we've watched in the town that did all that fire support with its 50 cal there. And so really was one of the heroes here. And then, let's see, another 75mm autocar. So this was, I think, the one that had the pincer movement. Let's see which one of these two is I believe one of them, unless the Staghound got the kill. Let's see, where's the Staghound? Here's the Staghound. So it looks like the Staghound got the kill on that pincer movement. So here's the one, and then the other unit in that pincer movement was the 75mm autocar. So it looks like these 75mm autocars really did a number on the enemy, plus this Stewart at the very beginning. On Gallineal's side, doesn't look like everything kind of did its fair share here, so nothing really stood out. Even the King Tiger just basically was taking out some transport vehicles, armored transport. Nothing too stood out, but that'll do it for this episode. So see you in the next one.